I wanted to give you a little bit of information about how to work on these first two screens with some matching of these different objects. If you take the paper you have that says side A, that pertains right here to screen 2 in your Desmos activity, and side B goes with screen 3. And what you can see on this screen is a bunch of pieces that can move around. There's two patterns, you can see two tables, you can see a couple of equations, and you can see these graphs. And the goal for this screen is to make two piles where each pile has one of the patterns, one table, one graph, and one equation. And my recommendation is to start with the patterns. You can move the pieces around, maybe get everything else out of the way, and you can use the tools on your keyboard to make things bigger or smaller to make them easier to see. All right, so my recommendation is to start by looking at each pattern and just counting the number of objects in each step. I see that the orange pattern has 5 in step 1. I see that this one has 9 in step 2 and 13 in step 3. On the other hand, the blue pattern has 3, then 5, then 7. And so my suggestion is after you look at the patterns, go look at the tables, and you can tap on the table to enlarge it. I see figure 1, 3, figure 2, 5, figure 3, 7, so I know this one goes over here. On the other side, this is figure 1 has 5, figure 2 has 9, and I can see that that's a match for the orange pattern. Now, right now, you might have these near each other, but Desmos won't recognize them as connected unless you drag one onto the other, and you see that little purple boundary, and then when you let go, they snap together. It's really important in Desmos to connect them. All right, I'm going to look at the graphs now. I see that this one has 1, 5, 2, must be 9, a little less than 10, so I can see that that one goes over here as well. This one says 1, 3, 2, 5, and I can see that, yep, that one matches here. When it comes to the equations, we're going to see more of this in today's activity, but this first number, this number that's multiplied by the x, is the rate of change. And since this pattern increases by 4 each time, that's a pretty good indication that this is the right equation. And this one has a value of 2, which matches the rate of change of adding 2 stars each time. So there you go. That's what screen 2 should look like based on side A. And if you look at side B on your paper and match it here, you'll see we've got a new situation asking for 3 piles. And it says that each pile contains 3 cards. So I'm going to follow my pattern from before, and I'm going to move up the pattern cards and get everything else out of the way. The order doesn't really matter. And now when you look at it, you can see that there's a pattern here with circles, and it looks like I see 1.5 and then 3. This one has some red and blue squares, and this one has a bunch of pattern blocks, including those green triangles. And you can see that there are 6 cards remaining, 2 graphs, 2 tables, and 2 equations. And so I don't have a graph, table, and equation for each pile, but I want to remind you that this says each pile will have a total of 3 cards, the pattern and 2 other cards. So let's just start by looking at the tables. This one has figure 1 has 5, figure 2 has 7, and I'm looking to see if figure 1 has 5. Nope. This one does. Not this one. So now I know that this table goes with this card. And then this one says figure 1 has 2, figure 2 has 6, figure 3 has 10, and I can see that that doesn't match the blue pattern either, but when you count everything, including the green triangles, I see that goes right here. So I'll let you figure out the rest of this, but you'll have the tables split up and the equations split up, and when you're done, each of these piles should have 3 cards. All right, have fun.